Hello, welcome to today's Idaho Falls Rotary Club program. My name is Liza Leonard, and I am the president of the Idaho Falls Rotary Club. I'm excited to present today's program, but before we do that, we're going to take care of a little bit of Rotary Club business. We've been working on having new members join our ranks, and as per our regular protocol, we want to go ahead and read some of our new member names to our membership. So these are proposed members to the Rotary Club. 2 new members were proposed by fellow Rotarian Josh Johnson, and those names are Tyler Perkins and Porter Talbot. We also had Benjamin Johnson proposed as a member by Aaron Johnson. So we are very happy to have them in the process of joining our membership. And we are always accepting new members. A little bit more club business. This month's restaurant of focus is the Elevate Bake Shop. As Rotarians, we decided to focus on one restaurant per month. These are restaurants that have supported the Idaho Falls Duck Races and our efforts as the Rotary Club raises funds to help expand our parks and our greenbelt here in Idaho Falls. And we thank Elevate Bake Shop and their former restaurant, also One Fine Cafe, for their continued support of the Rotary Club. We are very excited to announce that our next Rotary Club program on Wednesday, June 2nd, will be in person at the waterfront at Snake River Landing. So we will resume in-person meetings at noon for lunch on June 2nd. For all club information, please go to ifrotary.org. We post all of our programs, updates, and current events there. Today's program is with 2 fellow Rotarians, Rick Amon and Anne-Marie Peters with the College of Eastern Idaho. They will be presenting today about the future tech plans for College of Eastern Idaho. I'd love to just introduce them with a quick read of their bios. Many of you know Rick and Anne-Marie, but they're quite accomplished, and we'd love to share a little bit about their backgrounds. Rick Amon is the president of College of Eastern Idaho. Mr. Amon was appointed to serve as the president of CEI in July 2017 after voters passed a proposal to turn former Eastern Idaho Technical College into a community college. He had been the president of ITech since June 2015. Mr. Amon has worked in higher education at several colleges for several decades. He is passionate about education and holds a PhD in education from Community College Leadership Program, Oregon State University. He completed his dissertation on improving student satisfaction and retention with online instruction through systematic faculty peer review of courses. He also earned his MBA from Golden State University and has a Bachelor's of Science degree in education from Western Oregon State College and an AS degree in computer applications from Mount Hood Community College. Joining him is Anne-Marie Peters. Anne-Marie is the Director of Strategic Partnership at CEI. Mrs. Peters is also the co-founder of Interview Savvy, a Chicago-based training and career skills firm. She has more than 20 years of experience in behavioral coaching, strategic planning, consulting, and project management in the financial services and banking industry. She was honored to be selected as the 2019 Eastern Idaho Woman of Influence in Education, as well as one of Idaho Business Review's Women of the Year in 2019. Mrs. Peters has appeared on the WGN News for her expertise with interview skills and also was a featured employee for HSBC in Working Mothers Magazine's Top 100 Companies. She received a BA from the University of Chicago and an MBA from Northwestern University's Kellogg School of Business. I will now turn the time over to Rick Amon. Thank you.
Liza, thank you so much for that kind introduction. And, I think for Anne-Marie and I, we miss all of you in person. And I believe actually next week we're going to be able to see you in person. So I'm looking forward to that. And, Liza, you brought up the college, and we are just on our 4th birthday. And for all of you that actually supported the college, thank you so much. I think we certainly are proud of what we're doing here in formerly ITech and moving into CEI. So I think we're making a significant difference for the region. And when you think about it, we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about our future tech plans. And the reason that's important is because we don't have the kind of facilities on the CEI campus right now to do the kind of work that we think is going to be important to the region. So as you know, ITech, and this will be just a very brief overview. ITech was a technical college, the only one in Idaho, and was converted 4 years ago. And ITech was limited to technical degrees, certificates, and workforce training. The wonderful thing about CEI, and I think you all know this, is we have 2 associate degrees. And these really permit 3 things for our students. One would be to transfer to a university as a junior. The second would be an Associate of Applied Science, which means our students could go after that degree into work like nursing, welding, machine tool, cybersecurity, that kind of thing. And again, one of the most important things that we do would be workforce training, and that remains in place. And another really important thing that CEI could do would be in that realm of dual credit classes. And for those of you that don't know, dual credit would be high school students, primarily juniors and seniors, that are able to, as well as taking their high school credits, be able to move and take college credits simultaneously. And of course, those are paid with state funds. So it's a wonderful thing to have a student graduate with those credits. So CEI, and just to spend a moment for this, if I could have one word that would define CEI, it's going to be skills. So being next to Idaho National Lab and all of the wonderful things going on in the region, whether it's banking and all kinds of technical companies, as well as all the trades, we actually have a very important mission there. So skills, that's kind of the first thing that we at the college think about. Training and retraining. And in these technical skills, I think we all know that those skills change, let's put it that way, pretty rapidly. So we've got to be in a position to be able to train and retrain. One of the real important components of a community college in Idaho is the idea of open access. We are open to anyone. If a student doesn't speak English, we've got something for them. Maybe they've got a PhD and want to sharpen some data analytics skills. We've got a place for them as well. One of the key factors is affordability. You all know that we began the college at $129 a credit, and that continues through today. One of the things we talk about is speed to degree and certificate, an important element of a community college. I think one of the most important elements of us would be being responsive to employers. And when we first converted over to the community college, one of the things I would ask employers is, or a statement I would make is, don't make us guess on those skills that you need. Sit down with us, tell us in advance what an employer or what an employee should be able to do, and then let us work with you in order to do that. And if we're successful, we're creating family wage jobs. That is really the key for College of Eastern Idaho. So again, to kind of reiterate, training and education is an important element, and ultimately that is for the workforce. Retraining is an important element for the college. We worry about our students, our high school graduates in particular, going elsewhere for their bachelor's degree or leaving the region for other work. And we want to affect that outflow of students. So essentially, give them the opportunity to stay in Eastern Idaho. We also want to attract new companies into the region, and that's not going to be a problem right now as we look at those 6 major projects that are going on at Idaho National Lab, not to mention all of the other opportunities for businesses and industry. And of course, we want to influence that K-12 group. So that's kind of the long game for our students. So even if they're 6th graders, we want to bring them out to the campus and have them understand a variety of different kinds of opportunities they've got. That's going to be one of the wonderful things of future tech Tech to have a state-of-the-art building that young kids can see and aspire to a whole variety of different kinds of jobs and occupations. Well, we're up 11% as of fall of last year. Who knows what fall of this year is going to be? And we've lifted the mask mandate on campus and are doing a lot of things to attract students to our college. We're up about 34% in that early college dual credit kinds of things. So one of the things we're most proud of, and I think a lot of you know this, we started off with 35 nursing students, and now we're in excess of 200, and we're still not making a dent in the number of RN students that we're able to train. So the real key here is being responsive. So whether it is in person and or online, we literally are being involved with something called Online Idaho, which is a statewide collaboration. Again, one of the really important things that we're going to talk about as Anne Marie gets into future tech is this idea of workforce. And we are when we compare ourselves to the other three community colleges, we are doing extraordinarily well with almost 14,500 students that we served last year, and that was during COVID. And I think you know that we do have a workforce training center that we just ran out of space on campus. So that is on Yellowstone in what was still is the Boy Scout building. And we have one of the floors there. And there is a lot of cyber that goes on there as well as computer and network types of training as well as skills-based training. So what I'd like to do right now is turn this over to Anne Marie Peters, and she's going to start talking about the Regional Skills Labor Center that we're working at, and then we'll actually get into the Future Tech building. So Anne Marie?
Thank you, Rick. And I'm so pleased to be with all of you here this afternoon. We're going to start talking about first the Regional Skilled Labor Center, and I want to emphasize that this is a different effort than Future Tech, which we'll get into detail on in just a moment. The Regional Skilled Labor Center is an idea about training people to be prepared for the many thousand of construction jobs that we expect to be coming to this region in the next handful of years, really. And so this Regional Skilled Labor Center will accommodate anyone 16 years and older. They do not even have to have a high school diploma. What we want to do is make this very open so that anyone who wants to get better employment can come here and get the training necessary to do so. The focus here, and with Future Tech as well, is to make sure that jobs in Idaho are able to be filled by Idahoans who have been trained and educated to fill those positions. So this building or this effort with the Skilled Labor Center will be primarily workforce training related, meaning that this is not going to end in a certificate or an associate's degree. This is just-in-time type training to fill the needs of our local employers. So right now, the focus is going to be on the construction career pathway. This is not union training. The unions have their own training and their own skill set and positions. This would be more of backfill for when people who have those skills are going on to more skilled labor positions elsewhere, that we're able to help our local contractors and others to backfill those positions. So when we're thinking about this, it would be pre-apprenticeship, apprenticeship, safety, and other industry recognized credentials. Depending upon the facility that we ultimately end up with for this program, we would be concentrating on some construction skills such as HVAC, electrical, plumbing, masonry, hopefully welding. We're hoping to be able to expand our welding program, painting, etc. The plan at this point is to establish a task force of a multitude of industry representatives to establish all of the training types in this area that are necessary. We are hoping that we will be able to occupy an existing building through cooperation of some of our community partners in order to get this started in September of 2022, so a year from this fall. In the meanwhile, CEI is already starting some of the more in-demand construction programs in whatever space we can utilize to get those going. And I mentioned before that this is not going to require a high school diploma. And one of the great things about the Regional Skilled Labor Center is it will give us the opportunity to hopefully identify people who don't have a high school diploma and point them in the direction of a GED opportunity. And then for those who are already advanced past high school, hopefully steer them into a pathway that gives them an opportunity at lifelong learning as well. So now I'll talk about my favorite topic, future tech, the gateway to opportunity. We call it that because this is really the opportunity for Eastern Idaho and really Idaho at large to be able to have the type of education to fill the jobs that are coming and are already here in Eastern Idaho. So a few years ago, we started looking at what we wanted to do with cyber and computer network technician programs and how we might be able to house them together. We solved that problem with the Yellowstone building on a temporary basis, but very quickly realized that we were going to have a much larger building on campus to accommodate a whole lot of different types of technicians in the areas of energy, environment, and technology. So imagine cyber and computer network technicians those programs being lifted up and put back on campus in the future tech building. And then in a moment, I'm going to talk about some of the other programs that will be there. In terms of demand, 3 years ago, we already knew that there was almost 3,000 jobs for technicians in Eastern Idaho alone in just the areas of technology and environment. Energy had not even been actually examined yet because the jobs were too new at that point. So now we know that there will be even more demand with the projects that have been announced since that time for these really great positions. These are positions where we would expect somebody to start at a wage of $27 to $30 an hour and have benefits. That is a really, really great life-changing way to educate someone and get them into a family wage living that's going to change their lives and their families' lives. And that's really always at the basis of any projects at CEI. Of course, this is, directly in support of not only the state and our focus on education, but of course the Workforce Development Council as well as everyone in Eastern Idaho. You all know our buildings are currently, for the most part, more than 40 years old. Our newest building is our healthcare building, which is 14 years old. So we have an aging infrastructure. None of that infrastructure can accommodate the high-tech type of work that needs to be done to train these technicians. We're going to have a great conference and meeting space, not only for CEI, but for the community. We always want to consider our community because we are the community college. So we're really excited to share those plans with you. And this is, again, as we said, a great opportunity for a family wage living. And I think that it's important to point out that most people don't realize that College of Eastern Idaho is the only institution in Idaho that does not have a career technical education building. So it's probably about time. Again, with programming, I mentioned cyber and computer network technicians. Here's some samples of some other types of programs that we anticipate being in that programs that we would have in that building. So nuclear technician, software, radiation safety, some modeling and VR, and of course, machine tool and advanced technology or advanced manufacturing. That is something that's going to become more and more important into the future. And then finally, battery and solar are some of the programs that we're looking at adding, as well as focusing on agribusiness or agritech. This will include workforce training as well. So you might imagine about half of the students would be credit and about half of the students would be workforce training. So those just-in-time programs that we talked about a little earlier that Rick described. So we anticipate about 500 students from workforce training and about 500 credit students using this building every year, so over 1,000 students. In addition to making sure that the building itself is able to change with the rapid changing technology that is already here and we know is coming, we want to make sure that the curriculum is pivotal as well and really skills based. Rick mentioned skills as well. It's important that we have our students have a really broad and really excellent technical background and skilled background so that as their technology changes and they need to reskill, they don't have to start over. They can come back and just up-train. Hands-on focus to education is important in many of the programs that we have at the community college. It not only gives our students a chance to really learn their skills, but it also gives our industry partners an opportunity to have some of their equipment tested and to get students trained on those pieces of equipment. So it's a real win-win there. Now the details. So we have about an 88,000 square foot building planned. Where we have been anticipating $36 million for construction. As you all know, we're anxiously awaiting every day new numbers with materials, but keeping our fingers crossed that we're going to stay pretty close to that. Up to this point, we have already secured $2.4 million for planning and design. With those funds, we hired an architect in February of this year. It's Lombard Conrad Associates and OPSIS, as well as Northwind as the engineers for this. We have worked in workshops for the last several weeks since March 3rd and have actually created this tremendous book, and I'm going to show you some pictures from it that really outlines all of the planning and all of the discussions that we have had. I'm really proud to tell you that we had some great work done by the executive team initially to get the ball rolling, but since then we have brought in everyone we consider stakeholders in this building. So of course, students, faculty, our deans, but also industry partners, subject matter experts in various areas. We have at our disposal, very fortunately as an example, cyber experts who we were able to have help us with that part of the planning. So at this point, the draft of the design is, excuse me, can we go back to the PowerPoint? Thank you. At this point, the draft is complete of the design. We're going into schematic now, and we're doing that hand in hand with our construction manager, general contractor, Anderson Construction. We're at this point hoping to begin site construction sometime in the fourth quarter of 21, so this year, and then to complete the project for fall of 2023. That's a very aggressive timeline, but we feel that that's really important because we want to get students trained in order to get these jobs that are coming to Idaho and get them for Idahoans. So construction funding, where are we now? So we have $2 million that our trustees have generously set aside. It's of course important for CEI to have a commitment to the building. And then the state of Idaho, we're very thankful to our legislators who acquired for us this year $10 million, which is a really nice sum to get us started on that $36 million. We're also working with private donors. Certainly anyone who's interested in a legacy gift should contact me or contact Rick. We'd love to talk to you about that. We're also approaching foundations. We're working on a new market tax credit through the Treasury Department. And then we're still examining additional opportunities with state, federal, and local funding, particularly with some of the new funding that has come to Idaho. And so now I'd like to give you a quick overview of our plans and then take you through a fly-through. So first, this is a beautiful rendering of what the front of the building would look like. And you can see that it has a beautiful entrance. This is the part that will face Hitt Road. So as you're driving down Hitt Road, this is what you will see. And you can kind of see from there that we have a terrace out there that connects to the large conference room that we're going to have. And you see that this is marked draft. I want to reiterate to everybody that these are plans that are in progress, so this is not a final document. Oops, we'll go back up here. As far as location of future tech, so on your right there is Hit Road. You can see the campus there all the way up at the top of the existing buildings. That's building 5. So that's where our labs are. Where future tech is, you can kind of recognize that space as you drive down Hit Road. It's where there's a little bit of a parking lot there, and then we have our greenhouse currently located there. That's existing CEI property. And you can see that we're planning a parking lot above future tech, and you can see the circle drive there. This is all under discussion. We want to make really, really sure that we are carefully thinking about traffic on Hit Road and people coming in and out to events, as well as, of course, students. So what you're looking at here is the first floor. As you come in off of the circle drive there, if you came through the main entrance, you'll see in purple that those are faculty offices. Very, very few faculty offices. We are really focused on students for this building. All of the orange is classroom space, and then the green you can see is collaboration space, or what we like to call sticky space. We really don't have anything like this on campus right now, where students can sit and gather or sit individually in between classes. We're hoping that this will encourage students to take more classes if they have somewhere to actually rest and relax during in between classes. On the left in blue is what will be our field testing labs. These have great garage doors that go to the outside, so we can bring equipment into the labs, and then also between the labs so that they can collaborate together. The programs that we're anticipating in those areas are advanced manufacturing and machine tool, engineering tech, which would be a new program for us. Some people refer to it as mechatronics, but it's engineering tech. And then we're also hoping to have a maker space for everybody on campus to come and do prototypes for those entrepreneurs among us. This is the second floor. And the large green space is what will be about a 320-seat conference center. It can be split in 3. You'll see that as we do the fly-through. As most of you know, we have nothing like this on campus. We don't have anywhere where we can gather even for an in-service and fit everybody. And we're very happy to tell you that this is a community space as well. We'll be sharing this with the Idaho Falls community as well. The green space across the hall is also conference space. I want to note that that can very easily be transitioned into classroom space when that need becomes is there. And then we have upstairs some more lab space. I believe you saw on the first floor the cyberspace. This is computer network technicians and radiation safety. S-Tech was also, energy systems was also on the first floor. From this view, you can also see on the far left side a large stairway. That is a great gathering space for students. And all of those green spaces are spaces where we could simultaneously show any kind of presentation that perhaps might be even taking place in the conference center. Okay, and so now what I'd like to do is take you to my favorite part, which is the fly-through. And I'm going to narrate this for you. So we're coming, of course, down toward Future Tech, and we're going to come around the front of the building. That's the part that would face the green space that exists currently on campus in Building 5. That side part there is those large garage doors for the field testing area. This will be a work yard on the back side. You'll probably see an array of solar panels there. You can see that terrace that I described that would be associated with the conference center, but certainly would be for use every day by students and others. As you walk in here to the left would be the faculty offices. And then here you can see some of that gathering space outside of the classrooms. You see this example of an open classroom with servers where there are interesting things to see, like our supercomputer, our servers, our build labs. Those will be open where you have classrooms for safety and for also keeping students focused. They will have more of a walled exterior. Now we're heading back toward the conference center. Again, the conference center is on the Hit Road side. And as we go upstairs, you'll get a peek here of the terrace that I described. I think a really nice gathering place for anything that's taking place in the conference center, but certainly day to day for our students. The conference center is going to be a breath of fresh air for us, we really need this space. It can be divided into 3, which is super exciting. So we have a lot of flexibility there. We've tried to make the entire building very, very flexible. As we go down the hall here, you'll see some of these bridges. 2 of them are closed, making up some small study space that students can reserve on the fly through a wireless system. There'll be one bridge that will go across so that students don't have to, and others don't have to go from one end of the building to the other to get across. And as we approach this second floor area, you'll see that there's an intention to have a lot of different types of seating where students can and others can gather, and a place where maybe you just want to sit and catch up on your email or something else. You're seeing the stairway that I described earlier. This has become a very popular feature in many educational buildings. Students really enjoy the opportunity to sit there and study and meet, but also you can see there's a screen. This will be where we would have presentations, or could even be an extension of our conference center at any time. This is another gathering area. We call this whole area Innovation Alley. And you'll see this is all ADA accessible. Of course, we want anyone to be able to access every space in the building. And imagine that this might be someplace that we could display students' work or have even a robotics contest. We like to think about our K-12 students coming into this building and being super excited about what they're seeing, and hopefully getting inspired for some technical or any kind of post-secondary classes with us or with any organization. There will be a little coffee stand where students can get prepared sandwiches and those kinds of things there. And you see the open door out to the patio. We intend to have that outfitted so that we can have a temporary stage there, and hopefully invite our community to come and put your chairs down on our beautiful lawn and enjoy some presentations there. So that is our Future Tech presentation. And I do want to just reiterate to you something that the mayor said to us as we had shared this with her. We also have taken the opportunity to share this presentation with community partners, as well as our legislators and as I said before, students and faculty. But something that the mayor said during one of our community presentations was she was recalling having a tour of a newly opened elementary school some years ago here in Idaho Falls, and how the student was so proud of the new school. And the student said to her, you know, they built this for us because they care about us. And I think we all at CEI hope that when our students and when anyone in the community comes into Future Tech, that's the feeling they're going to get. We are building this for you. We are building this to give opportunity to everyone in Idaho, whatever their age is. And this is going to be a really great opportunity to make sure that we get Idahoans educated in a way that they can get the best jobs in Idaho. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Rick. Thank you, Anne-Marie. This was a wonderful presentation, a lot of information on the exciting plans of the Future Tech facility. Tell us a little bit more. You have a lot of growth on the campus. Who is that Future Tech student? Who do you see that as being?
So a Future Tech student could be a newly graduated high school student. We always hope that they're able to come to us with some dual credit, because that means that they've got credits that they haven't had to pay for yet. But whether they're entering with no credit or some credit, it's a great first step for high school seniors who graduate. But this building is going to be for anyone. So it might be someone who perhaps has never had a great job or has been underemployed, who wants to do something different and sees the opportunity here. Anyone of any age can come back. We have an open access policy that Rick mentioned, if you do not have a high school diploma, we'll help you get your GED. If you don't speak English, we'll help you get English classes. Anyone who wants to go to CEI is welcome, and that extends through ages as well. From all the way up to 100, I guess, or more. But also, this will also have workforce training classes in it. And so this will apply for employers who just want to schedule some classes that would be accommodated in these laboratories and other spaces, as well as just-in-time training or contracted training as well.
So obviously flexibility is something you've really focused on. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? You have building this building for the future and future programs without really knowing what to anticipate. How did that factor into your design process of this building?
Sure. So we're making sure that all of the spaces, while they're correctly outfitted for the technology of today, have the flexibility to be changed for the technology of tomorrow. So very little of the furniture and even parts of the lab are permanent fixtures so that they can be moved around to accommodate those needs. As an example, the large classroom that's going to be in there, rather than making it a tiered classroom, we are going to make it a flat floor and use tiered furniture so that large space could become anything in the future. And I think from a curriculum standpoint, as I mentioned before, we'll want to make sure that our curriculum is skills-based so that anyone who is in a technology field always has a really good base that they can return to and upskill.
Wonderful. So there's obviously CEI has a beautiful campus, well-established campus, and you have current facilities as well as your Yellowstone buildings. Why a new building now? Why is that necessary?
That's a great question. So this is a little bit of a mission change in that we're really focusing on these technician degrees. We've always had them, but now the opportunity and the demand is such that we want to make sure that we have enough space and enough programming to not only accommodate the needs of our employers, but very importantly, can accommodate as many students as we need to be able to get them into those positions. And we simply do not have this type of space on campus. There are general classrooms, but no, I would say, career technical education space that's specialized to accommodate those needs.
And has CEI already had the opportunity to acquire the land for this building?
So there was no acquisition necessary for this building. This is land that we currently already own. So this would be south of the canal and next to our Building 5.
Obviously, there's been a big shift in education over the last year. How has that impacted CEI and who your students, what your demographic is?
Did you want to answer that, Rick?
Sure. So, Liza, we're gonna tag team with that.
No problem.
So, the changing demographic of our students, I think, is what you're asking, and we're entering a more technical kind of society right now, and especially this region is particularly technical. So, energy is particularly important, and I want to reemphasize that we are looking at things like solar panels, solar energy. Of course, there is wind energy. All of that's got to be captured with batteries. Microgrids then become particularly important so that energy can be released anytime during the day. The concept of electric vehicles are important. So really, we're looking at technologies that are emerging or maybe we haven't even thought of before. And I think you've seen, Anne-Marie has demonstrated the flexibility of this building. I'm going to mention one other thing. So we, the executive team and trustees, have gone through not a strategic planning approach, but actually a futuring approach. And it's a little bit different, kind of sounds the same, but futuring is looking into the future and kind of projecting what we think this region is going to become, what this region is going to need. And then as we look at that and know it, this kind of building is perfect for training in that. And again, speed to degree becomes really important. And then, literally the ability to reconfigure these rooms and have these rooms open for business and industry. I can see trade shows in in this kind of facility. And as Anne Marie had mentioned, the conferencing center is absolutely critical. And we don't have anything like that on campus.
Well, it's all very exciting. How do you communicate, and I'm not sure who wants to answer this question, as students hear about Future Tech and the programs that you have available, you're trying to appeal to, locals who are thinking about education or wanting to enhance their education for a better job or better wage. How do you communicate that Future Tech is the right place for them, or help them see themselves there, that they have the right background, the skills already, and you guys can lift them from where they are now into those roles, and that it's fit for local Idahoans?
Yeah, Liza, thank you. I'm just going to start on this, and I'm going to turn it over to Anne Marie. But again, this college has been always open access, and that's that's why it's important for us to get into elementary school, junior high, high school, and start with those kids that we don't want to see go out of state. And there are, as life becomes more technical, we want to make sure that as jobs change, that our workforce has an opportunity to change along with it. So this becomes exactly what we're doing here with Rotary, is letting you all know as fellow Rotarians that this kind of approach is coming, and we want you to help guide students to this college. Anne Marie, you want to
Sure.
add some other insights?
Sure. We have a phenomenal early college director, and that would be Mary Stevenson, and that's where we're describing dual credit. That's where we're making sure that our high school students know about CEI and their opportunity to use their advanced opportunities funds from the state to get their initial classes done at the college. So that's one place where a lot of students learn about CEI and the programs here. So as they're going through the advising process, they get exposed to the different options that they have. Our dual credit students, we increased that number by 34% this last fall. So really doing a great job. I just actually spoke with Mary earlier today, and she had mentioned to me that her team is planning a presentation to all of the high school CTE teachers locally here in Eastern Idaho in the fall, probably in August actually, to make sure that they're aware of everything that's happening at CEI, and I will be giving them a very similar presentation to what you saw today. And as Rick mentioned, we're counting on all of you. We want you to be our grassroots messaging about the great things that are going on at CEI.
So to flip that a little bit, with the Rotarian membership, we have a lot of employers, managers, those type of people. How can they get more connected with CEI to communicate? Maybe they have job needs, need some training programs. What's the best way for employers to connect with CEI?
So if it's something that's more of a just-in-time type need, so a temporary need, that would go through workforce training. Our new executive director, I know all of you knew Michelle Holt, our new executive director who just started this last week, is Jeffrey Snedden. And so you can contact him through our workforce training. And all of these names are available and contacts are available on cei.edu. And then, of course, if there's any kind of ongoing programs that people want to discuss, they should reach out to Rick, and he'll make sure to get the right people in the room to discuss their needs.
It's wonderful, the access that you give to the community to really communicate with CEI to make sure that all of that lines up for the future of students here. Is there anything else? You've done a wonderfully thorough program. I appreciate, again, you taking us through all the details of Future Tech. Anything else that we didn't get to cover yet that you want to make sure before you leave today Rotarians know about Future Tech or CEI?
No, I guess I would just say if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or to Rick. We love to answer your questions, and we're very proud of the work that we've done here and how quickly we've been able to put together this plan for the building. And we're asking you to help us make it a reality by talking about it in the community and supporting us. Thank you.
Just wrap it up by saying thank you again to Anne Marie. Thank you, Rick. Wonderful to see you and excited to see all of our Rotarians next week in person when we meet on June 2nd at noon at the waterfront for our first in-person program again. So thank you all for joining today's program. We'll see you soon. Thank you.